I let my cheating ex think he won, but my revenge was just beginning. He really thought shattering my world was his victory. He celebrated with her, thinking I was buried under the rubble of the life we were supposed to build. He thought he won. But what he didn't know was that his betrayal wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of my revenge. And I was going to make him watch me build a life he could only dream of, a life he would never, ever be a part of. For 7 years, my life with Mark looked like one of those perfect filtered photos you scroll past online. All warm lighting and easy smiles. We weren't just a couple. We were a team. We had our little rituals, the things that weave two lives into one. Sunday mornings were for coffee and the crossword, with that comfortable silence between us while we figured out the clues. He'd always leave me the last bite of his dessert, a small, silly thing that felt like the purest kind of love. We were saving up for a house with a wraparound porch and had already picked out names for our future golden retriever. I'm a planner, and our life together was my favorite project. I had a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and he was at the center of all of it. He was my biggest cheerleader, or so I thought. He was the one who encouraged me to step back from my career goals for a more stable, less demanding job, so we could have more time together. He said it was for us, for our future, and I believed him. Why wouldn't I? I loved him. I trusted him with every blueprint for my future, every quiet hope I had. He wasn't just my partner, he was my foundation. And the thing about foundations is, you never think they can crack until you feel the whole house start to fall apart around you. The first crack wasn't some big dramatic explosion. It was a hairline fracture, so small you could barely see it. A name I didn't recognize on our credit card statement. A charge from a restaurant I'd never been to. When I asked him about it, he was so smooth. "Oh, that was a work dinner, babe. Must have forgotten to tell you." But the lie just didn't feel right. It was the start of that quiet, gnawing dread that sits heavy in your chest. The real bomb dropped a few weeks later. He'd fallen asleep on the couch, and his phone just kept buzzing on the coffee table. It was late, way past midnight. I glanced over and saw that same name from the credit card statement pop up. This time, the message made the air leave my lungs. "Can't stop thinking about tonight. You looked so good." My world didn't just shatter, it imploded. The fight was everything you'd expect. First, he denied everything. Then came the gaslighting. "You're being crazy. She's just a friend. Why are you so insecure?" But I stood my ground, my hands shaking as I held up his phone. And that's when his face changed. The panic just vanished. It was replaced by this cold, arrogant look. There was no apology, no remorse, just him, flatly admitting it had been going on for 6 months, that he was in love with her. He wasn't sorry it happened. He was just sorry I found out. The man I had planned my entire life with looked at me like I was a complete stranger, an obstacle he'd finally tripped over. In the weeks that followed, he let everyone think he was the one who came out on top. He moved in with her almost immediately, their happy new life plastered all over social media. He was free, while I was the tragic ex left behind. And for a while, I played the part, because honestly, it wasn't an act. I was destroyed. That kind of pain is a physical thing. I let my friends see me cry. I stopped going out. I let his smug, pitying texts asking if I was doing okay go unanswered. From where he was sitting, he had won. He'd upgraded, and I was left in the ruins. He saw my silence and thought it was surrender. But in that silence, a different kind of fire was starting to burn. It was a cold, quiet rage. One night, after scrolling through yet another photo of him and her on a weekend trip we were supposed to take, something inside me just snapped. The grief was still there, but now it had company. Anger. And anger is one hell of a motivator. It's the voice that tells you that you deserve so much better. That's when I decided my revenge wouldn't be some loud, messy drama that would give him the satisfaction of a reaction. No. My revenge would be building a life so full, so happy, and so successful that his little world would look like a gray speck next to mine. First step? Therapy. Not to figure out how to get him back, but to understand how I'd let myself get so small in that relationship. I started journaling, pouring every ugly, painful thought onto paper just to get it out of my head. I reconnected with the ambitious woman I was before I met him. I pulled my old business plans out of a dusty box and saw them not as a forgotten dream, but as a new map. I channeled every single ounce of pain and anger into my work and my health. I started running, letting the burn in my lungs overpower the ache in my heart. He thought I was breaking down, but I was breaking ground. The first time he saw me again was about 4 months later, totally by chance at a coffee shop. I wasn't with a new guy. I wasn't dressed to kill. I was just me. But a version of me he clearly didn't recognize. I was 20 pounds lighter, my skin was glowing, and I was genuinely laughing with a friend. When our eyes met, I saw the confusion on his face. He was expecting a ghost. I just gave him a small, polite, and completely indifferent smile and turned back to my conversation. In that one moment, I felt this incredible surge of power. My happiness wasn't for him anymore. Detachment was my new superpower. The second unveiling was professional. A year after we broke up, the side hustle I had poured my soul into, the one he'd called my cute little hobby, took off. It blew up into a full-fledged business, more successful than I ever could have imagined. It had me traveling, meeting new people, and being the confident leader I had pushed down for so long. A mutual friend mentioned that Mark had seen an article about my company online. The story wasn't about my heartbreak. It was about my success. I hadn't just gotten a new job. I had built an empire on the ashes of the life he burned down. The final reveal wasn't for him at all. It was for me. I booked a solo trip to Italy, the trip we had always talked about but never took. For 2 weeks, I explored, ate incredible food, and learned how to be truly, blissfully happy on my own. I posted photos of myself standing in front of the Colosseum, smiling. Not for the camera, but because I was just happy. I didn't tag him or write some cryptic caption, but I knew he'd see it. And I knew it would be the last piece of proof he'd ever need that my world didn't end when he left. My real life had only just begun. The best revenge isn't making them see you with someone new. It's letting them see how happy you are with yourself. It's been 3 years. That burning need for revenge is gone, and in its place is this quiet sense of pride. I see now that this journey was never really about him. It was about me. Getting betrayed like that was the catalyst that forced me to grow in ways I never would have. It pushed me to reclaim my ambition, my independence, and my own self-worth. I don't hate him anymore. I don't really feel much of anything when I think of him. He's just a character from a chapter of my life that's long since over. My success, my happiness, my peace, that's not his punishment. It's my reward. I didn't just rebuild my life, I upgraded to a model he never could have afforded and will never get to experience. If you've ever had to turn your deepest pain into your greatest strength, I want to hear about it. Share your story of how you rebuilt in the comments. Let's build a community that reminds each other that we are the ones who build our own happiness. If this story hit home for you, please like and subscribe for more content about turning pain into power. Just remember, the goal isn't to destroy their world, it's to build your own so beautifully that you forget they were ever even in it.